Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second edition of the Neutral Zone. I'm Andrew Badillo, and joined alongside me is Quinnipiac men's ice hockey beat reporter Gabbi Riggi. Gabby, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Andrew.
All right, so Gabby, you were at both games this weekend, and as well as the game on Tuesday for the men's ice hockey team. They came out with wins in all the games, but it was definitely an up and down tilt in all the games. What were your takeaways from the weekend?
The fact that this is the first team that can string together more than one period. There were so many times in years past where it would be three completely different games for each period. This is a team now where if they have a shaky first period, which we did see in all three of those games, there would be the opportunity for them to rebound and come out strong in the second period. The second period has definitely been the go-to for this Bobcats team, either on the power play or in general. So I think the fact that they've kind of solved that issue of the inconsistency going in and having three separate games in each of these periods is a huge thing. I think the fact that you're seeing 51 goals for in 11 games is outstanding. That's over 4.5 goals per game. Last year they averaged about 2.5 goals per game. I asked Ryan Pecknold about that after the Dartmouth game, and he said it's the fact that you have the first line and then three lines you can roll from there out. So again, it's the depth of scoring. Everybody, I think except for Tanner McMaster on the forward end, has had a goal for this Bobcats team. They're just so deep, and like I said, it's the solving the problems that they've had in years past. This team looks outstanding.
Yeah, and it's something that, Rand Pecknold has really been able to use this year. That new line, Tim Clifton, Soren Janssen, and Scott Davidson has been tremendous for them so far. And one of those players, Tim Clifton, that I mentioned, has just been a completely different player this year. We see the grit and the physical aspect of his game, but the goal scoring, Gabby, has been off the charts.
Well, I'll say this isn't something completely out of the wheelhouse for Clifton. He was a point scorer and a goal scorer when he played for the Jersey Hitmen, with 49 goals in 1 year. So this isn't anything new to him. And talking to him after some of the games, it's a little bit of right place, right time. He's a guy that's not afraid to go to the net. I think he's really benefiting from the fact that he's playing on a forechecking line. Just the ability to cycle the puck, the ability for all of those guys to be able to hit, to be able to go back and back check. It's the ability that he's able to play where he feels most comfortable. And he's gotten bigger. He's working with the power skating coach in the offseason. He's just developed his game to this level where he's had these skills all along. He's had the hockey smarts and he's had the hands. It's just a matter of being that big guy in front of the net, the guy who's now able to just put his stick there, have his teammates go and just knock it in.
Tim Clifton with 5 power play goals on the year. That's tied for first on the team with Travis St. Dennis. And now, Gabby, moving along to the defensive side of the game for the Bobcats. Michael Gartig has been very solid this year, something we haven't seen in years past. He sort of faltered here and there. The defense has been really solid. The defensemen have accounted for 38 points for the team. Gabby, what is your evaluation of the defensive side of the Bobcats game so far?
I really like what they've been able to do. I think the pairings that they have work very well as their pairings. I think that's one thing that can be an issue going forward in terms of injury, in terms of penalty, that sometimes they don't match up with other guys as well. I think another thing to be a little worried about with Michael Gartig is I talked to the women's assistant coach Amanda Mazzota earlier today, and just the idea of if you're not facing a lot of shots, that makes it a little harder because you have to stay sharper. So I think as a team that doesn't allow a lot of shots, they're a team themselves that averages 40 shots on goal a game. To have so few volume of shots on Gartig can be something where you have to stay really mentally sharp. But he's done an excellent job so far. What concerns me is in the UConn game, Pecknold wanted to start Sean Lawrence, give him the night off. After the first period, he pulled him in favor of Michael Gartig. So I think tiredness may be a factor. I think Lawrence is still an excellent goaltender from what we saw of him last year, but just the defense being able to play in front of him. That second UConn goal, 4 flat-footed defensemen on one side of the ice, that can't happen. But in terms of other defensemen, Chase Priskie impresses me game in and game out. Not only is he leading defensemen in points with 12, leading top 3 in the conference in terms of points, he's just smart. Every single play you sit there, he can set up the play at the back of the net. He'll see the outline, see which way that should go. I think for a defenseman, as good as your hands are, or as good as your hitting may be, if you're not smart, you're not going to be the best defenseman you can be. And Chase Priskie is just smart.
And that's something that the Bobcats need as well. Rand Pecknold has said it in past games where they've missed assignments in front of Michael Gartig and it's led to goals. So Priskie has done a very nice job of that so far in his young college career. And now, Gabby, looking ahead to the weekend, it's another big weekend of ECAC play. Clarkson Friday night in St. Lawrence on Saturday. What do you see in the matchup?
Clarkson is a team that hasn't won a game yet in ECAC. They're 5-3-1 overall. That can be a little bit scary. I think, there was the issue of people saying, oh, are they going to lose to Dartmouth because they're not going to take them as seriously. I think this is a team that, for as maybe undisciplined as some people might see them, as much as they like to push around, they have their head on real straight. So I think Clarkson is a game where you just want to go in, play your game well, play the system well. It's an opportunity to fix those small mistakes, make sure your back check is as tight as ever. I think they should really be worried about St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence was in my top 5 for our power rankings. They're 7-3-1 overall, 2 wins so far in the ECAC. They were the team that played spoiler to them in the national championship year, killing that 21-game win streak. They're a team that the biggest thing that's helped the Bobcats, I would say, would be their power play so far. In each of those games, the big catalyst has been these big 5-minute penalties that they've gotten in those long power plays where they've just been able to go to town on these teams. And St. Lawrence is a team that has a number 6 penalty kill, in the country. So St. Lawrence isn't going to be the team that's going to bite and play those games. And even if they do take those long penalties, they're a team that can kill it off effectively. So I think that combination of those things, their history in the past, St. Lawrence is a big, scary game for me. And then again, after Thanksgiving, they have that home and home with UMass Amherst. So it's not going to get any easier. You go from the Hockey East to 2 tough ECAC opponents back to Hockey East to kind of close out the end of the schedule for the first half of the year. It's not getting any easier for the Bobcats, that's for sure, Andrew.
Unbeaten streak on the line this weekend for Quinnipiac, as well as 4 points as it takes on Clarkson Friday at 7 p.m. and St. Lawrence 7 p.m. on Saturday. When we come back, Sierra Goodwill will come on the desk and join me for a women's ice hockey discussion to talk about their past week and the weekend coming up. Thanks a lot, Gabby.
Thanks, Andrew.
Laser Medica Derma Centers is a new philosophy in skincare for all ages. We are dedicated to offering the most technologically advanced and least invasive skincare treatments. Show your Q card and receive 20% off any procedure. We also provide microdermabrasion and Botox treatments, all performed in a relaxing spa environment. We are conveniently located at 52 Washington Avenue in North Haven, just down the street from Quinnipiac's North Haven campus. Call to schedule a free consultation and find out how Laser Medica can give you smooth, sexy skin all year long.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Hello, and welcome back to the Neutral Zone. I'm joined alongside Sierra Goodwill, women's ice hockey beat reporter. Sierra, how are you?
I'm great.
All right, so Sierra, you were at the games as well this week in the Friday game. You weren't there for the Saturday game. Quinnipiac traveled down to New Jersey. It was all Quinnipiac, and then Princeton just put in the game-tying goal at the end. The team has been inconsistent in terms of scoring all year long. Sydney Rossman, for the most part, has been solid. But what needs to change in order for this team to score on a more consistent basis?
Yeah, so the inconsistency of the offense has definitely been frustrating to watch. And it's been frustrating for the team, too, I'm sure. At times, it seems like they have no trouble finding the back of the net. For example, in their first game against Yale, it was 6-3. It was all Quinnipiac. After the game, Cass Turner was talking about how it's so nice to have so many players that have this confidence to score and so many players that can score. But then you see these games against Colgate, the 0-0 tie. They had the shots, couldn't find the back of the net. The tie against Princeton. In order for them to become more consistent offensively, I think that offensive-minded players like Sam Ferrano, Sam Miskevich need to work on their play when they don't have the puck, like Cass Turner said after the Princeton game. I think they're so focused on scoring that they lose the awareness of their open teammates around them and the open opportunities around them to kind of set up other teammates, and that's kind of contributed to the inconsistencies.
And the Bobcats, they're 6-1-1 in games where they score 3 goals or more, and 2-0-1 in games where they score 2 goals or less. So definitely you see that they're more productive when they're putting the puck in the net more often, as any other team would be. So with that being said, the Sam Miskevich, Sian Ferrano, and Emma Woods line has been their power line all year, 39 points amongst the players. Does Cass Turner need to split them up and evenly distribute her lines, or is keeping them together a good idea?
That's tough. I would say keep them together for now. They've been gelling well together so far. I would say if they were the the only 3 offenders producing game after game, then yeah, split them up. But you have 3 players in Nicole Brown, Megan Turner, Sydney Rusler, who have been making a big impact on the scoreboard. They have, the 3 of them combined have 6 of the last 8 goals for Quinnipiac in their last 3 games. So I think the distribution has been okay so far. Maybe if the offensive struggles continue, yeah, split them up. Maybe the struggles are coming from that line, getting a little maybe greedy about wanting to get the points, wanting to get the goal, and that's where it comes in. But Sam Iskevich and those other 2 are selfless players, so I think keeping them together for now, especially with this big game against Clarkson coming up, is the right move.
Okay, and moving along, so we've talked a lot about Cass Turner this year coming in, trying to keep up the success of this team from last year. They lost a few big pieces. How have you evaluated her job so far and how she's done?
I think Cass Turner's done a great job so far. You can say there's been those inconsistencies, but this team's 7-1-3. They're not doing horribly. They're just the ties. The ties are killing them. The offensive inconsistencies. But yeah, that one loss to Yale should have never happened. 4-3. Rossman was really off her game. But I think Cass Turner's done a great job making her teammates her players really well-rounded, making sure they're putting equal effort on both sides of the ice, and making sure that they don't give up when the puck's out of the offensive or defensive zone. They're really contributing on both ends. This team has been great on the penalty kill, 90.3 percentage. They could use some work on the power play, 12.5% conversion rate, but overall I think Cass Turner and her team will really work out those kinks moving forward and continue to be a threat in the conference and nationally.
Okay, and moving along, I know for me, I don't think this team has been tested yet. I think they still have a lot to work on, and this weekend they're going to get their first real big test in Clarkson. They have St. Lawrence coming up after that, but I think the Clarkson game is a huge game for this team to really see how good they can be. Sierra, what do you see in the matchup this weekend?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Bobcats to pull out the win, but I think they have all the right components. They just have to be fitting together that night. They sort of got back into the groove the second game against Princeton when they came back with those 3 goals in the third period. If they continue that offensive flow, maybe they have a chance. Shay Tiley, though, the goaltender for Clarkson, is unbelievable. She's not going to let up. If Quinnipiac can find their flow offensively, if Rossman's on her game, they have a chance. Sam Iskevich needs to get back into the mix in this game. She had a little bit of a lull in the weekend series against Princeton, so she needs to get her confidence back, which I have no doubt that she will. The goals per average for these 2 teams are pretty similar. Quinnipiac at 3.09, Clarkson at 3.56, but the depth of Clarkson's offense is going to pose the biggest threat for the Bobcats with Kaylee Mercer, 25 points on the season. Olivia Howe, a +20 ± rating. She's also top 5 in the conference for points. Quinnipiac's defense, like Greco and Rusler, really need to focus on shutting those players down if they want to knock off the number 4 team in the country.
Yeah, and I mean, Clarkson has just been a force the past few years, the national champion 2 years ago. So we'll see. I mean, if Quinnipiac is up to the task this weekend, I think they're going to really have to focus on the gritty style of play and Cassie Turner's hard to play against mentality. Big weekend coming up for both men's and women's Quinnipiac ice hockey teams here in Hamden. That'll do it for this episode of The Neutral Zone. For more information, visit our website at www.q30television.com and follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports. For Sierra Goodwill, Gabbi Riggi, I'm Andrew Badillo. Have a good one.